welcome back to my channel, and welcome to part 10 of coloring Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I feel like I got my camera a bit in a weird position, but we will be coloring here, and that is on the screen, so it should be good. Now, last time we got started on the trees, though I do have to say that lighting took a little bit of time, especially for me, the figuring out where it goes and where it doesn't go. And then we had a little bit of a head start on the darker parts of the, well, that back tree, because it seems to be a bit more to the back. So now we're just gonna see if we can find the right colors. And considering this is all very dark, I'm gonna assume that I cannot really get that from the Pablos. So I'm just gonna go grab these just to double check, I guess. Is there a pencil underneath there? Yes, there is. Right. Because, I mean, we might not be using any of the lighter ones even. I feel like this might be as dark as I want to go. The juniper. Now, I still have everything lying around. For those of you who have been watching the previous ones, I just kind of keep everything lying around because I am messy like that. So I feel like I'm probably going to be using all of these darker ones. So that Chrome Oxide 278, Pine Green 267. Oh yeah, we were also going to try and name everything, so do wish me luck. Juniper Green 165, so those are these three. And I feel like that would already get me, yeah, that would get me started. Though there's like some lighter parts, which is probably the one I used. Yeah, it's kind of like that 158 Deep Cobalt Green. And then I think like that should be it, although I might want to add like a lighter color to that. You don't really see a lighter color, but I'm pretty sure it is there. Considering this is my dark choice, I'm thinking I should maybe, why? Now, for those of you who can still remember the last one, I was going to try and pronounce the things. Now, I still have this one lying around because I figured that would be a lighter version, but lucky for me, that is the, that's dark phthalo green 264, although you're just, I don't know, I'm so tempted to just go phthalo green. So yeah, and in order to get like really dark, because I'm kind of seeing darker bits in there as well, I will probably be going for, what shall we use? I mean, I usually end up with that 175 dark sepia. I'm gonna go for sepia. Well, maybe I could go for warm gray just this once, but I'm just so used to that 175 that it's a force of habit. I already have it at the ready, so still have to do my sharpening, but we're gonna start with that 175. Still have to empty my sharpener because, for those of you who are not new here, I usually just do 2 in one go. So that means part 1 and 2 were in one day, 3 and 4, 5 and 6. So it's just all in one day, just kind of take a little break in between. So that off day I was having in part 9, or off week, or month, or well, we'll see where it goes. I am still there now, because, it's only been an hour. So as usual, of course, I have myself a little snack. I don't know if they're named the same everywhere, but those chocolate bar thingies, Lion, I don't know if they name them like that everywhere, but I had one of those. I don't know, I just saw them at the store, and I don't know, it's one of those things that I hadn't eaten in, let me just call it forever. And then you just kind of see it at the shop, and you just gotta bring it. You just gotta. I don't know what that is, but that is probably not a just me thing, right? All right, now I could go into that, either the chrome, but I feel like I'm gonna try that juniper green first, because that feels like it's going more towards that other blue-ish. I don't know, it does feel, well, we'll see how it's gonna go, but I feel like I want to just try that juniper first, which is the 165, just to see how those two kind of combine. So far I've used that darker color and then with the chrome oxide green. Now I just want to see how it looks if I do it a little different. I feel like my point is bad. All that sharpening is so much fun in editing because, you know, gotta kind of make sure. I mean, while recording, I'm trying to keep in mind that in editing, I'll be taking it out. But still, sometimes you just color and you sharpen your pencils. It's just part of it, isn't it? All right, now I'm going to go into that deep cobalt green, which still has that old point. It seems like a good point, so I'm just going to use it. And down here, we don't have to go into lighter colors. So this should be good. Good enough anyways. Let's just see. I kind of feel like we're headed in the right direction. Though I do feel like this is a bit too on the bluey kind of side, but that is kind of why we picked it. Because I feel like that reference kind of has that sort of blue feel to it. So I do think that we can get those trees like all done. I'm kind of assuming, but well, I have been wrong before. I was kind of hoping I could do them last time, but then the background kind of took forever. All right, now I want to return to green. So I mean, I have all these colors that they're ready, and I'm not really using all of them. So this is again the juniper. Oh, that is inconvenient. My phone just going, asking for attention. And I could just turn it like off, I think. And then, you know, you're kind of all caught off. Like when it's off, it's like literally off. I don't know, I want that. So far we've used the juniper, the dark sepia, well, the dark one. And we used that deep cobalt green. So that's not a lot. Well, keep in mind we also did like a bottom layer to it. I'll just leave them there because it might just get confusing. Because like at the beginning I kind of showed all these pencils that I was grabbing and I'm now not using, so well, it's me again. But yeah, the phone just going noisy. I was actually kind of close to it, so guessing my mic picked up on that. kind of worse when your phone just decides that you need to update. I had that once, and then it just kind of stops the recording. That was just rude. It's like, you rude thing. And I get it, you gotta update the thing, but do you really have to stop my recording for that? That was just so inconvenient. Because you can't undo this. That's kind of, you can sort of do stuff in editing, and but that's really it, you know. I can like take out the noise that I make with my sharpener, which, you know. And people keep saying like you should turn the sharpener rather than the pencil. I've been trying that a few times and it's just not working. The only problem is that, you know, when I kind of, this is what happens, and that kind of creates that little weirdness, which will probably break, but we shall see. Yeah, I did do it different. I was going to do that juniper first, and then I was going to do cobalt. Oh well. You know what? I feel like that last part was really kind of off. So that'll be part 9, pre-9. I'm feeling a bit off, and I was kind of presented with multiple options. Like, you know, you could just not do it. But, you know, I do still have a few ready to go. Because as we speak, part 3 is uploaded. Because I was actually thinking, you know, maybe I should just do an upload like twice a week. Like every Tuesday and Friday. I figured that would be good. But, you know, I didn't know that I'd be enjoying it this much. Well, the coloring. Still feel awkward talking to myself, but I'm doing it anyways. Alright, so it feels like there's a bit of something else going on, like a different shade of green. So I'm just gonna put that right here. I'm just gonna go in a little bit with the brown. And I'm gonna create a different kind of green. Well, create. I'll just grab it. I don't have to create it. Faber-Castell already did. Yeah, where was I? Coloring over there. So I'm feeling like that could be the permanent, or maybe I'll go for the 173. That way, if I need it in the front somewhere. It's kind of funny because that 174 is so close to it, but I somehow never really seem to be using it. Yeah. No, but, you know, I thought I could not record it and just wait for a bit, but I don't know. I did kind of say that, you know, I'm hoping people are coloring along, especially because I start speeding up the uploads, which was also in part because I felt like it's kind of silly because these things are like an hour, hour and a half, and if you really want to color along, then, you know, you might have time on your hands, or I guess that's also because right now it's a rather new channel, so pine green, I feel pine green would work as well, but I'm gonna take that back. I just said I was gonna go for pine green, but I feel like that chrome oxide is better because we're in the background, so it's kind of like creating that dark. No, you know, with uploading, I just kind of looked at it and I was like, I'm gonna just do that every other day. That way, you know, if you are coloring along, you can just color along. I mean, there's gonna be a time when I already have a few videos up and I can maybe take it a bit slower. But because my channel is like so new, I kind of feel like I want to just edit them and upload them as fast as possible because there's not much to do yet. And I have the baby dragons on there. But, you know, those are markers. Alright, so I'm going to go for that juniper. No, not the juniper. I'm going to go to cobalt to kind of get that blue feeling in. Now, it seems a bit annoying to have those pencils there, and it really kind of is. But on the other hand, it makes sense to me. I'm a complicated person, I guess. I have weird preferences sometimes. It's just kind of, I want to keep everything in the screen or something. I don't know. But yeah, because it was kind of like uploading every other day, you know, I'm kind of going through my colorings quite fast. All right, now, I could just put them over there. I'll just leave them next to the page because this whole pencils rolling everywhere is just distracting me. I was actually talking about that uploading thing, which is not every other day, and I have mentioned that in a previous video. I was, well, probably more than one, because I do tend to repeat myself every now and then. It's kind of like, you know, before, like today, you know, I have my coloring chats and I kind of know what I want to do and I kind of know what I want to talk about, but I don't write it down because I'm too chaotic. I mean, that's not exactly news to anyone. Well, not anyone who's been here before. So, you know, I kind of repeat myself, especially between the odd and evens. Because again, you know, 1 and 2 is in one day. And then we have 2 and 3 in one day. And all right, so that chrome oxide, I'm going to use on this one to kind of make it look like it's behind that one, if that makes any sense. I feel like dark is always background and light is more to the front, or at least that's kind of the idea it creates. Which is why the last time I also added some shading over there to push it back a little. But yeah, because I basically kind of think of what I want to say during today's recordings, you know, that probably means that I do repeat myself a lot. I mean, I could just write it down, but I actually had that in one of the coloring chats I did for my alcohol markers. Like, I just wanted to kind of flow, go with the flow. And I can't work with a script anyways. You know, that might work when you're like with someone. That would be, you know, someone can sort of ask stuff or remind you that you were talking about something, or maybe keep track of all the things you have already mentioned. So, you know, if I am repeating myself a lot, I'm sort of sorry. I can't really help myself. It's kind of where the flow goes. And because, you know, some of the recordings were done on the same day, that means that between that one part and the other, they were just still very much on my mind. Like the fact that, you know, I'm not feeling too dandy, but no. Details don't matter. I do feel it's like sort of worth mentioning. That way I get to share that part of me too. I mean, I don't want to get too personal. Yeah, I don't want to make it become too personal. It's just, I don't know, that's not for me, or not yet, or I just, you know, I was kind of already debating, like, should I or should I not? And I figured, you know, I really probably should, because, you know, we all have off days. And I don't know, it might be might be valuable to someone if that gets shared too. I mean, I don't want to be one of those channels that just filters everything out. I do just want to be me. I mean, I had an off day and I figured, you know, I was just not colored the next day. And that actually happened. So the next day I did not color. I just kind of, yeah, I went to editing. So, I mean, I still was doing something, just, you know, on a different level, I guess. All right, now I feel like, where are we? This is got to be over there. So it's kind of like multicolor. It's like to the front and the back. It's like a dance. So I'm just going to go for that cobalt green. Go in there. See what happens. No, I just didn't want to skip too many days. Because, you know, I kind of mentioned that I want to be doing these parts. I want to upload them sort of regularly. Now there might come a point where I'm kind of slowing down again. Because, you know, right now I have the time to fit this in. I can kind of work my way around that. But, you know, things change. I could just have a day when I have cramp in my fingers, you know, like a cramping hand or something. I don't know. Alright, now this is going to be, I'll just be pushing things to the back at random and then trying to hope that will make other things kind of pop to the front. Does that make sense? No, but I did notice that, like, that day after my off day, I kind of, and I noticed that I just came back kind of like shaky and whatnot, and that happened earlier too, so that does make you reconsider, like, maybe I should just take a nap. I mean, I'm already like coloring at ridiculous times anyway, so that's not ideal, but that's mostly because I can't really sleep. So I'm just kind of using that insomnia to get things done. It's nice and quiet. So there's no, well, there are still cars, but cars are here always. You'll always hear cars on this street. Just, you know, if I'd be doing this around, I don't know, call it lunchtime, that is always like one of the busiest times of day. Kids and whatnot. I mean, it's weekend now. While I'm recording this, I mean, probably not when I'm uploading it, but and again, while I'm recording this, part 3 just came online, so I guess you could look into when this is being recorded. And I guess maybe in the last one, I might have added a sneak peek of where I'm really at. Because I mentioned something about the mess that I have and taking a picture. Part 9, I actually said something about how messy and, you know, like an explosion of pencils, and maybe I should just like add a little picture. But by the time I'm hearing that, I might already be coloring dwarfs. I don't know. I mean, it does depend on when I edit it. I might be editing way before. When I stopped feeling bad about the time it takes, because I do feel like I do things different, which is not necessarily bad. It just sort of results in me having a very unique kind of style, which might be why I cannot pinpoint what exactly it is that I'm doing. Alright, now I feel like I could go a little into lighter, but I had noticed that that dark phthalo green, phthalo, might be too light. So, alright, that 159 Hooker's green, who named it that? Well, anyways, it is lighter than what I have now, but it seems not helpful. Seems like it's still way too... I understand why I grabbed that, because that is too close to... I'm guessing the juniper is like the darkest I have right now. It's gotta be on the blue kind of side, maybe the grayish. Is that kind of... Do I have a lighter version of that? I'm just gonna go for that phthalo green. Anyone else feel like that? It's just a weird name for a color, phthalo green. I feel like I have issues. And again, it's a bit late. So, you know, maybe that might be it. Well, I don't feel like I can really see that this is a whole lot lighter, which is maybe what I was going for. Because there we go again with that word. I want it to be like a suggestion of light. And there's no real definitive detail yet. So I feel like I shouldn't focus on that too much. This is the juniper green again. I do feel like I'm getting better at actually naming the colors, which is so helpful. It's part 10. You've been here since part 1 trying to figure out what I've been doing. Well, your patience and loyalty will be rewarded because I'm finally doing. Well, I do think I have been on my first one. But, you know, every time you kind of swap between pencils, that is just such a natural thing to do while coloring. I mean, it is for me. I'm used to using like 20 different colors for one thing. I mean, for this, we now have the juniper, the dark 175? No, yes, 175. We have that chrome oxide. We were using that 173, the 159, weren't we? Yes. And we have, I mean, so we're at 6 pencils for just that. I mean, and I am used to that. Maybe other people watching are like, why? I don't know. I mean, it just became my way of coloring. Alright, I'm not gonna, yeah, I was gonna go for that chrome, but I'm gonna go for that 175 again, which is basically that very dark brown. Just checking if we are still on the screen. I feel like my lighting is a bit shadow creatory. Is that? I could have found a better way to say that, but probably. Those are half the things I say. Or maybe for half the things I say, it kind of goes, you could have found a way to not say it. Alright, now into juniper. No, but I do feel like, you know, I'm kind of getting used to that coloring chat thing. I mean, it might be easier if you actually go live and have, like, people watching. So, you know, they can say stuff and you can reply. But I might do that in the future. I think I would first need, well, I would like to see a little bit more views on what I have uploaded so far. I mean, I have gotten a few likes, so, you know, thank you very much for that. It is, I mean, that does kind of brighten your day, you know, like you've been, I'm really trying to create something that people would appreciate, so, you know, that like, it does, you know, I do definitely like that. I like the like. Ah, what a original way. But it does make it feel like, you know, someone is appreciating what I'm doing. Though I do have to be honest, like half the time when I'm watching a video, I kind of forget to click that like button as well. So maybe, no, well, maybe it's a good thing that I'm actually talking about it now. So, quick reminder, there's a like button. It likes to be clicked. There's also a subscribe button that likes to be clicked. And, you know, while you are clicking, I might as well turn on your notifications. And, I don't know, maybe just, if you feel like typing, you know, you could do something, drop a comment, be gentle. You know, I feel like it's a bit awkward though, but looking at my videos, I do have to say, like, no one is really doing it, so it does make you wonder a bit, like, why isn't anyone, come on, while I'm recording, I can tell you, you can be the first. That'd be awesome, be the first. Did I color that in a way, like, it's gonna be a background, because I feel like I'm just going over that, because we had that, and then, okay, I feel like it's good. Good. I'm gonna go over that with that chromium, chrome oxide. Where did I get chromium? What? There is no, I don't know. Seeing things. Something in that chocolate bar. Gotta go check the expiration date on that. I'm sure it was just sugar in there. Alright. I do feel, I mean, they're different, but I don't know. I'm not disagreeing with the colors. Now, I'm gonna go for that chrome and not that dark one I have, because I feel like I'm kind of going into the light. And we're gonna have to wait and see how that looks when we color these. I feel still, it feels like there was like a circle there, like someone wanted there to be a sun or something, or the moon. I don't know, some circle. Some kind of beach ball stuck in a tree. Because, you know, you always find that in the forest. Beach ball in a tree. It's their natural habitat. Somehow I feel like this dark green is so bright. Which is weird because it's just normal paper. Right, I'm gonna go slightly over that side of that beam. Because why not? I'm so distracted because every now and then I come to a certain angle where I can kind of see what's going on in the screen. I mean, not directly, because of course I'm looking at my page, but like my peripheral vision kind of picks up on the camera, and that's like so weird. Seeing something move in the corner of my eye. Well, you know, your natural response is like, what's that? Where your kind of evolved brain has to go, that's you, silly. Leave it be. I actually noticed that somehow while moving files on my phone, I managed to, I don't know, I moved files on one of the parts that I had edited it, and then, wow, that sounded like a bit stutter. I edited it. Wow, so I was done editing it. But you know, I don't usually save the draft immediately because it just takes up time and, wow, takes up like, it just makes my phone slow. So I just kind of save that for a moment when I'm not really doing anything interesting, like not recording. But apparently I moved some files, and I don't know, I hadn't moved the clips that I actually used, but my phone somehow thought that I did. So now I have to do, I think it was part 6, I have to redo the whole thing. So that seems done. I mean, there's a little bit of weirdness going on here. I might add that to the background. I mean, that's gotta be like Not this part. I don't know, I feel like I can push that a little to the back. We're just adding that dark one. I just do a dark one. Just to make it clear, I'm using this. Oh my god. This is that juniper. I feel so far, I think I've named them all-ish. Dark, well, deep cobalt green. It's just, it'd be nice if I could just memorize it, but we don't have to look at them. Problem with that, if you grab the wrong one. Maybe that is good too, you know, because I'm kind of trying to name everything I use. I'm gonna have to double check what it is I'm actually using. All right. So I feel like we should now get into that other tree. I still have like all that junk from the last time lying around, from the blobs, because you know we use the word blob. We still do. I mean, I don't know how the next page is gonna turn out, but I'm thinking blobs will be involved. All right, me green already have that. Good. Yellow. The permanent green olive. What else? I would say very light green, but yeah, I already have a very light green, so I might actually be looking into either one of these yellows, which is going to be a no. I don't know, maybe I could go with that a little bit of cream, of course. Is that cream? See, for somehow the cream is yellow. This should be vanilla or something. It's so confusing because the cream on my other set is not like that. Well, okay. So this is not the cream of the other set. Find my cream. So this is the cream of the Pablos, and I mean, it's just different. Because this in the poly would be called the ivory. So, yeah. Alright, I'm easily distracted. Have I mentioned that? Oh, so I got that, and I would feel that juniper green again. I feel like juniper greening it. Maybe a little bit of this one. That olive green yellowish. So I already have 5 pencils. Alright, let's just see. I think I'm kind of complete here. And I might want to go for, yeah, maybe for the details, that permanent one, but that one is very bright. It does bring everything to life, so. Alright. That means I have my bundle and random pencils that just got under the book. I should probably just move them out of the way. Whoop. Alright, so we have a mishmash of pencils that are trying to escape. I'm just gonna probably start by coloring in those darker bits. So I'm just gonna start with the one that requires that 173 olive green yellowish. Time-wise, I feel like I'm doing rather good. Do I have this on screen? Yes, I have it on screen. Because, you know, and if I'm kind of pointing like right here, trying to find a dark spot, and I just feel like it makes sense if you see that reference and what I'm kind of pointing at on the reference, then, you know, maybe it makes more sense what I'm doing over on that right page. I don't know, I'd want to know. I wouldn't just want to know what someone is doing there. I guess I would also want to know how someone got to that point. And that's kind of how I'm kind of trying to figure out how to make my videos. Kind of just asking myself, what would I want? Complete chaos, apparently. Alright, that's got to be this, right? So somewhere over here, we have a darker color. I think I set darker colors and then I said, oh no, I'm going to go into this first, but this is of course a darker green. Not the way I'm doing it. I'm doing it lightly. I feel like over there's a bit on this kind of branch right here. It seems to just go to the back. I mean, that's on here. It just seems like the line art goes behind, so it's just easier to kind of go along with that. And then, of course, over here, which is mishmash stuff. That is probably just part of that tree trunk, isn't it? Not anymore. Wow. Wow, Dodo. Wow. Alright, now I feel like it's like, I'm just adding random dark spots now, hoping that will work. This kind of looks okay-ish. Yeah, this kind of looks like it should have been sky. Then I sort of forgot, so now it's part of the trees, and there's a little bit over here. Alright, now into that darker one, which is gonna be the juniper green. So we're gonna go over it or just create more dark patches. I feel over there. My point's still kind of good. Well, we're going lightly at first, so I guess it doesn't really matter how my point is. Not yet. I do want to see how this would be if I make it dark. Because this kind of has to pop with the background. Because it kind of does over here. Because it's not an exact match, I am kind of missing that poppiness. Poppiness? Well, okay. I feel like there's a little bit going on here. It's kind of just figuring out where it feels most logical to be adding shading. I'm just going to color them straight in. I feel like that is the better idea. So I'm going to go to that green olive, because that kind of feels like it's the color. It is one of my favorite greens. I'm not sure why, but it's also what might be getting me into trouble right now, because I used it over there too, of course. So that might make it impossible to really create that contrast, but I'm going to try nonetheless. You can always find a way to make it work. You can always go over that background with a gray or something to just push it back. I'm kind of hoping that this tree can be done relatively quickly. And it's got to be done right. That is like the first thing that I want. I want it to be done right. And I guess the time it takes is just it's not as relevant, not to me anyways. I'm coloring, and it's not like I'm trying to take as long as I can, although I can understand how it feels like that when you're watching, especially when I'm picking colors. But I feel like with this, it's like a tree. I've colored trees before. I don't generally have issues with trees. Trees are my friend. And again, in the corner of my eye, I can see what's like going on the screen. It's so distracting. It's so weird. This hand moving. It's like my own hand, and I'm just not really aware of it or something. I'm just losing my mind. I'll probably get used to that too. Whoops. But is it bad? It is not all that bad. And sometimes when your point breaks, it actually becomes a bit unusable. But yeah, the last few, it's like that point was just a bit awkward because it was shortened. and I got a new shortener. So it kind of just comes from that long point into that shorter version. I don't know if I have a longer point lying around. I don't, but I do. And I'm just throwing it around. Because this one was done in that, what is it? Dolly, I don't know, that rotary one. And then, you know, they come out, well, shorter at first. Because the first time it just takes that part, but when you shorten it again, you know, the wood is kind of like smaller too. I guess that's the best way to describe it, is it kind of goes from a cone into a pyramid. So like it becomes wider. I just felt like I wanted to get used to like smaller points, because I feel like that might actually, you know, in the long run, might save more pencil. Because I mean, for these things, I really just, I want that point, that pointy point. So I feel like if I just keep it a bit shorter, it might just be easier for me or something. It might be cheaper. Less wasteful. Yeah, I think that's a better way to put it. Alright, now I feel like at that bottom, I don't know which one it is, but there's something dark going on. There's some darkness. I really just said there's something dark going on. Yeah, some shady business. But that might just be the one that makes it sort of stand out. Just sort of create lines. Yep, I do hope that we can get like quite a bit done. Because I was talking about those, there was something missing. Those are like flowers at the bottom near, well, it's like somewhere here-ish. There's some flowers missing. They are in the reference, but they're not really in here. So, you know, I might have to draw those. But, I don't know, I feel like it would maybe be more productive if I can draw those, like maybe for this part. But we'll just see how it goes. I mean, I do want this tree to kind of look like a tree first. And this is very bright green. I do kind of love it. It's a bit intense sometimes. Especially for these trees, I think it's maybe even a bit too bright. Is that 266, by the way, that permanent green? See, I'm a little bit late mentioning it, but you can just rewind it. And into, what is it? Permanent green olive. And that's the one thing, you know, you can kind of cut things out of your videos, like sharpening and whatnot, but you can't redo the coloring, which is why I kind of hate like noises in the background, because, you know, if I'm like talking, so some noises do actually make it through to editing, you know, they kind of, I'm like, yeah, you know, I can cut it, but, you know, then I'll have to do voiceover, and I'm just not going to do that. It's just, I don't know. I mean, the recording already takes a bit. I mean, you're watching it, you can imagine that, you know, the real thing was actually a bit longer. But, you know, I'm okay with that kind of, I'm coloring anyways, so, but I've never really had to watch myself color, which, you know, I'm kind of forcing myself to do now. Well, not now, but after, you know, when I'm doing the editing, you know, I am watching it. So that takes some time, and I'm kind of like, whatever I said, and if there's a bit of a noise with that, then yeah, I don't know, I'm just gonna have to live with it. I feel like I should also do voiceovers, and now I'm just kind of talking, speaking my mind, whatever comes to mind, I'll talk about that. And you know, if I have to redo that in editing, if I have to do that in a voiceover, I'll probably make it sound so stupid. Whoa, where did that go? Oh, that one needs to be sharpened. I guess that can be the downside of a very sharp point. I don't know where that went. I'll find it at some point. Wow, no pun intended. I do feel, you know, it's different. Like mine are too dark, aren't they? Let's just see if I can brighten them. Maybe with a little bit of ivory. Because I just went way too dark. I'm being attacked by my cream. That sounds kind of weird. Pencils are attacking me. They are revolting. Alright. So basically that means I should just stay a bit on that lighter side. Wait, let me just finish this part first. I'm really all over the place. Again, I'm seeing coloring from the corner of my eye. It is so distracting. I do somehow feel like I'm in a bit of a weird position, like working in weird angles. I don't know. I don't know if that's because of that camera. Well, because of that noisy chair. It's just something's kind of pulling me out of alignment right now. Alright, let's just see if I can make it look lighter with these tiny pencils. I got these extenders still, but I still feel okay holding this. So these to me are not too short. They're not exactly ideal, I guess, but I wouldn't say that they're too short. I mean, I can still hold them. Even if I want to do like lighter things, I can still hold it all the way to the back, so yeah, for now it's good enough. There will come a point where I need the pencil extenders. Which is why I bought them. Alright. I do feel that that one is like way too dark, but oh well. Alright, I feel like this is the combo with the juniper, the green olive, that, what is it, May green, and well, clearly that creamy. I really just want to call it like vanilla. It's like vanilla, although, you know, not the real vanilla, but it's more like a vanilla ice cream kind of color. Alright, so now I'm just going very light. And I'm going into that and just kind of holding it like that. And that way there's no question what I'm using. I'm not really using that reference anyways, because I feel like there's too much of a difference between this and what is on that reference. And I do know this like darker over here, that is the same on the reference. Yeah, at least I could take my time coloring now. I do have to, it did kind of cost me all the editing I did on part 6, I think it was. I have room on my phone. Because I know these recordings, they do take up a silly amount of space. And then sometimes I forget to move things around. And you kind of have to quickly move them. And apparently, I moved a few files that I was using for editing, although they were still in the same folder, so I'm not sure what happened there. But, well, whatever happened, happened, and I'm going to have to redo the entire thing. I mean, I was already mentioning having an off day here and there, but of course, stuff like that kind of piles on top of that. Because that's like that Murphy's Law, isn't it? Can't catch a break. That's okay. And now I kind of get to color and tell everyone, even if you have an off day. Kind of reminds me of that fish who kept singing, just keep swimming. Yeah, okay. We're just gonna keep coloring. Be creative, or I don't know. I think creativity can always kind of go and kind of like drawing. You can just draw what you want. So when you're happy, you can draw happy things, and when you're sad, you can, I don't know, draw sad things. Coloring is kind of the same. Although not with this, because I'm kind of copying someone else's work. You must have been happy. But it does take your mind off of things. Not unless you're kind of using it to talk about in a coloring chat, then you're still kind of stuck on it. Well, I'm not stuck on it. But, you know, it does explain maybe, well, word. Yeah, I do know that I seem to be like searching for words a lot more, and I also kind of start new topics like almost in the middle. And I'm a bit more chaotic. Not that I'm all that organized normally. No, I am always a bit messy. That's more than usual. And I guess I am kind of succeeding in naming the colors more. I mean, not right now, but I'm holding them. I named what I was holding. Just, you know, you gotta pay attention. I cannot do all the thinking. I can't even do all the thinking for myself. That totally explains my shopping behavior every now and then. I mean, wait. Have I been focused on those pencils the whole time? Because that would be a camera. I'm over here. Oh well. Yeah, I feel like this is better. Now I have that weird dark blob over there, but oh well. Normally I'd actually get an eraser and try and fix it. But considering I've already been burnishing quite a bit over that, I feel like using an eraser wouldn't improve it. So I'm just gonna leave it. Alright. Maybe I should just put them over there. Alright, now dark one. Juniper. Where dark one, let me see. And that's just meaning I'm just gonna use a light layer. Because I do feel like we're kind of done with the dark bits. Alright, now into rolling away pencil. That 167. You know, it doesn't have to go any darker than that, so this is kind of complete. You know, it's peanut butter and jelly, they complete each other. And I'm just going to do a little bit, very lightly, of that juniper just a little through there, just very lightly. And then go back with that olivey color, and we have one olive. I'm just going to call this one olive for now, considering it's the only pencil with any kind of olive in the name that I'm using. So I feel like my cat is trying to get into the room. I hear semi-scratchy sounds. Because, I don't know if I've mentioned, but oh, he's such a poor little kitty. Yeah, I've been coloring for quite a bit, so however long this video is, you know, you should really add like at least 10 minutes to that, and that's the last time he had his cuddles. Aren't I horrible? That's what he wants you to believe anyways. Alright, did I make this green? Well, I did now. Might as well continue. Kind of like I did that. Yeah, well, this is taking too well for it to not have been green. This looks kind of good, doesn't it? Get my hand out of the way. Focus here. Hello. Camera, you do your thing. Alright, so it does look... I mean, that one looks too light, but there's just not much I can do about that. Nor am I going to try. I'll just make this one really pop. How about that? Kind of bring this out to the front. And that way, it'll kind of look like this is in front and that's in the back. But I don't know. That is the theory anyways. Oh, I feel like my cat's going back downstairs. He's like, whatever, you don't love me anymore. I don't know. I have another color in chat where one of them is just meowing for quite a bit. I ended up just sort of editing in his, well, obsessive meowing. It's kind of cute though. Alright, let's just see if we can pull that one a bit to the front as well. We gotta have some in the frontness going on in order to make that look like it's in the back. Because we kind of went too dark. I mean, that was a bit of a whoopsie. But if we can just bring everything else to the front, then, well, once we take a picture, we'll just tell everyone we did it on purpose now, won't we? See, it did push it back. I feel like it did push it back. It does seem to be, yeah, it does seem like I'm just randomly babbling, which is very much true as well. I know, if you're not new here, then you know. I do feel like, you know, the progress on this one is kind of nice. Yeah, this needs sharpening. And the trees are starting to look like trees now. So that means we are almost at the dwarfs. I'm looking forward to that. I really have. You know, I explained that in a previous part as well. That's kind of why I was not starting there, because that is, I feel like that is where all the fun is. So I just wanted to get the less fun bits out of the way first. Alright, now I was going to sharpen this one. I also mentioned that I was probably going to go into that grassy bits on this part, and I was going to try anyways. Is that, I decided that was going to be part of the sky. Well, that part anyways. What about that? That doesn't seem to have any color in it. It's kind of the hard part. Because the sky color kind of doesn't show up. But I do feel like the reference doesn't have a lot of changing colors in that. Now, in the last time, part 9, I did mention that I wanted to get to coloring maybe the grass, but I also mentioned that I probably wasn't going to be drawing in those flowers, but I feel like I want to give that a go though. I really want to try. Mostly because, you know, it's a rather big thing, so I do feel like if I'm just gonna skip it, it will feel like it's missing, you know? I do feel we're making plenty of progress on the tree, so we might actually have a little time left to do some drawing. Okay, now there's some dark over there. I'm just gonna go in with that juniper because I decided that's gonna be like the dark color. I mean, basically there really is no kind of dark. It's all light compared to the actual dark, but I'll just go a little bit random. That seems to be enough for now. So this is that olive one again. I mean, on the one hand, I feel kind of silly that it took me this long to finally start naming them and kind of be consistent about that. You know, there's just this other part of me that's thinking, well, you know, we are far from finished. And, you know, I did say I was still kind of getting used to everything, and I just felt like I wouldn't be doing that between swapping pencils. And it might just be because right now it's kind of easy to do it, because I don't have a lot going on, and I'm on the same pencils for quite some time, because it's a bit of a large area, isn't it? And it's not just a little bit of tree that we're coloring. This tree is taking up quite a bit of space. And compared to everything else we did, that's a whole lot of tree. I can actually go a little bit dark and keep that light part for right here. And so far so good. I feel like I'm trying to put less detail in the tree though. I don't know, I feel it's a tree. If it's a bit undefined, it'll be just fine. It'll be just undefined. But it does seem sort of similar to that side. I got that off screen now. Let me just pull that back. And not that I'm really using anything as a reference over there, because that's kind of why I was doing it, so that people know what I'm pointing at. And right now I'm kind of just doing my own thing. I guess that would be the best way to describe what I'm doing right now. I'm just picking the colors I want, which just ended up with way too much yellow here. So I'll fix it. And that's the thing, you know, a lot of times I go back and fix it, so it means I'm piling color on top of color on top of color. And that is probably what gives whatever kind of different effect I end up with. Because I have had questions of, you know, what that specific technique is. Well, I would call it the I messed it up, which apparently happens quite a bit. But, you know. It just kind of goes to show how other people see your work. I'm just thinking, oh my god, that went wrong, and then I went over it and over it and over it and over it and over it one more time. And then someone else kind of thinks, oh, that is an interesting technique. Well, okay, that's a way to look at it. That's why you should always post that final result, post it, and never really say what you thought went wrong. Because, you know, those coloring communities, they're not going to point it out for you. And maybe if you, like, ask for comments, like, what could I do better? You know, on the one hand, I'm kind of curious what I could do better, but, you know, in the end, I like my end result. So I guess if I'm asking anyone what I could do better, you know, I just, how can I get to my end result faster? That is probably the only thing. Like, I just feel like most of my time kind of goes into picking colors. That is really, picking colors is my nemesis. Even though all I have to do here is just grab my swatches and, well, pick a color. I mean, it's right there. The answer is right in front of me. Yeah, I do feel like this is sort of turning out nice, isn't it? I mean, there's still that dark spotty right there. Dark spotty? What happened to the word blob? There's a dark bloppy here. Yeah, there it is. And I did notice that I use that word a lot, although looking at that background, I get it. Alright, I still have to do this. I was already wondering why I was looking a bit off. Pay attention, Dodo. Yeah, totally forgot. Was I talking about something? I'm asking, even if you answer. Well, I could just say drop it in the comments, but I will find out once I'm editing, or maybe in a bit. You know, I was talking about how it was starting to look like a tree. I mean, it is. I mean, those are a bit weird-ish in color. It's like they were the wrong color or something, but I don't know, I feel good. I do feel good about my tree. It's my tree now. I already tried to go lighter on that with the ivory. You know, sometimes you just gotta stop fiddling and just pretend that you did it on purpose. So, forget what you heard. I did it on purpose. I do kind of feel, I don't know, different about picking just like 4 different colors, and the 4th I'm not even using anymore. Though I did just like sort of pre-layer it. Is that a thing? Pre-layering? That was called kind of grayscaling. Or shading it is more like it, because I guess that's what grayscale books are as well. That's kind of where I got it. I never knew what grayscale was. So I saw a few and I was like, oh, so the shadows are already done. That's why I don't like them. I'm not that like fluent with my shading, but I do prefer doing that myself. I mean, I could just use a book like this to learn as well, but you know, everyone has their own preference. And I do actually own the grayscale books. Well, book. I own a grayscale book. And I own alcohol markers, and the two combined just make for very quick coloring. I don't have to blend. I don't have to pick multiple colors. You can just pick one color, go over it, and be done with it. Which is why I got them, just, you know, for when I want to color but don't really feel like coloring, or maybe I don't have time, or maybe I'm sick, or I don't know. It's kind of why I bought them anyways, for when I wanted to get something done quick. Normally I'm not doing it that way. Ooh. Alright, so I do feel there's a bit of weirdness going on between that front and back. But on the other hand, it doesn't feel all too weird at all. Let me just check the camera for a bit. It does kind of feel like this is a bit of shadowy in the back. Maybe that scratchiness I'm gonna have to take a look at. I'm just gonna go for this one, because I know from previous coloring that this one probably created it, so somehow I feel like this one can get rid of it, which is that permanent olive thing. It's the permanent olive thing. See, it says so. Permanent olive thing. Let's just see. Now, I was mentioning going into the grass. I was, but let me just make a little room, which I clearly did not have, because we have those flowers. Let me just see if I can move some things around, make some room, because I don't want to move my camera, so I'll just move everything else. Because we have those, and I would like to get those here as well. Because, you know, time-wise, I could start the grass, but that would just, yeah. Alright, so this is equal to, there's a little dent right there. So over here, this, I'll just try, we'll just see if we can make it look like flowers in the end. Just like a little circle-y thing. I don't know, I should first get that general sense of where everything is. This is kind of like where the bottom of the flowers are. It goes, well, they're going to be my flowers, and I can make them look however I want them to look. Alright, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's one over here. Should really go a little bit lighter on that. And I feel like that looks a bit like flowers. There's actually some green going there. There's actually a little bit of green over there, so I don't know. I feel like I could get away with this. This is really that I can do with a pencil, I think. Just a normal one. It's all about that suggestion anyways. So I feel like that is where the flowers are. And they're not going to be an exact copy. Alright, there's like that little bloppy thing. It's like a little blop and like a little line, and I don't know, we'll just... See, for me, that'll work. Alright, so while we're at that, so we have those, well, sort of flower thingies going on over there, which, you know, I've done enough so I can still see it. But, I mean, there, oh yeah, there were some, those gems are missing? That's like a purple, it's kind of like, over here. How big are you? Yeah, it's not that big. It's over here. It's kind of that size, isn't it? I feel like this tip is kind of, Wow, there's like a weird floppiness. Well, like a square thingy. So it's got to be right here. So kind of like that. With the circle thingy here and a little bit of the thingy over there. And then we have that red one. Oh, we still sort of off screen. But oh well, so that's got to be like here-ish. This is like a bigger kind of circle. Other than that, I feel like everything is pretty much on here, I think. It's kind of weird that they forgot that. And like those flowers, I mean, how did they forget an entire bundle of flowers? You know, they put them in there. I feel like I made it complete. I mean, I'm still kind of dull the lines a little bit. And I'm not too good with drawing, I guess. But, I mean, there's a difference between drawing with graphite and drawing with colored pencil. I'm just so tempted to add whatever. But, you know, that tree looked at, yeah, it turned out okay. I mean, I could start adding like a little bit of green to the grass. I mean, I could just take like a quick look and just start with like that bottom layer. It's kind of become a thing anyways, which is going to be that May green. Well, look at that. So I guess I don't have to be all that awkward. I can just tell people to remember to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. You know, you still have some time after that. You should definitely leave a comment, like something, anything, maybe something you like, maybe a question, like something I did make you wondering, maybe for a color, or I don't know. I mean, maybe you're seeing me use that brush and you're wondering, what kind of brush is that? And that would actually be a good question. I have no idea. It's just a soft makeup brush thing. Kind of like one of those cheap sets. You know, if you have questions related to the coloring, of course, just drop them in the comments. I'll see what I can do. I mean, if I'm still coloring on the page while I'm seeing it, you know, I could just leave a comment, like, you know, I'll talk about that in part whatever, so that, you know, it'd still be relevant. But, you know, I might actually, you know, if I'm already on another page but you have a question, you know, you could still drop it below this video. I mean, I might still read it. I don't know how busy I'll be, but, you know, if you have a question, just ask. Definitely ask. I mean, so far, well, I kind of had nothing to do. Alright, so this is where the flowers are going to be. So we're just going to go lightly. So this also makes it, yeah, I guess it was a smart plan to just go straight for that green, because now I kind of know where I want that to be. Alright, so that bridge, is that over here? Is this part of it? I'm still kind of being in debative mode. So if I kind of draw a line from there to this side, it does seem to be part of the bridge. Well, it doesn't, I don't really have to make a choice just yet. I mean, it's just a base color to kind of give the idea and to sort of help me wrap it up. I can talk and because I often end up just talking without coloring. Now it's kind of like combining. Makes me feel like I got you trapped. And that's a different green. I mean, could probably add that as well, like a little bit of blue. Yeah, after editing, I mean, there's gonna be a lot of time left, so I feel like, oh my god, why is it the middle phthalo blue? Why do I always end up with the phthalo blue? Phthalo blue? Phthalo blue. Alright, so 152 phthalo blue. What? Alright. There's a little thingy there. There's a thingy. There's a little bit of a thingy over there. It's just like underneath that blocky thing, kind of over here, isn't it? And then it goes that way. I don't know. I feel like I'm constantly drawing now. It's not good. I'm not here to draw. I'm just gonna add that suggestion of blue too. I guess that's kind of what it would look like if you just use one color to, well, color the whole thing. So I do have a line kind of drawn. That one little guideline, like this is where the page kind of stops. But yeah, this does show the difference. If you use one light layer, or if you actually go all in with your colors. Alright, I'm gonna go for that green too, because I feel like I still have that sort of lying around. Hooker's green, I do have that, I think. I have everything lying around now, except for Hooker's green. But you know, I just grabbed it. We're good. We're good. It's lying around now. But yeah, I mean, this does make it clear that for the next time we are definitely doing these flowers in the water, and I'm guessing the bridge. It just is kind of fun to just sort of lightly color this. It does really show what happens to the page if you only use the one color, especially next to the assorted colors we already used. Because I mean, you can see those in the background, so it's quite a difference, isn't it? It's a fun difference. Well, I feel it's fun. I'm having fun. Alright, so that is green too. So, I mean, it does kind of make it very easy to indicate what we're doing next. And we are going to be using a base layer anyways. So we might as well just drop that base layer in there. Also makes it way easier for me to kind of stick to the plan. Because I can't really go and do something else next time, because this is kind of prepped now. I do have these roses kind of at the ready. So I'm just going to go in with that same color very lightly. Because I did that, I mean, I did kind of draw it in, and then of course took those lines a bit back out again, so kind of makes them invisible. Just to create a blob that I already went over. Gone with the blobs. Right. Now I could also go for the base layer of the flower. But, you know, this does kind of... I mean, of course, if you would just color with one color, you would intensify it. But, you know, I do feel like if I'm going into this too much, then, you know, the next time is going to be a bit of a chaotic bit. Although it does look like next time I'll probably get into those rocks, because it feels, I don't know, it feels like natural to do that. To come up that grass and then, well, move into that. I mean, we are closing in on the dwarfs, aren't we? Wow. That top bit, I'm very happy with it. I didn't think I would get that to look like that, but it doesn't exactly, but it feels like it actually turned out pretty good. It feels like it's sort of was forced in the background in a misty, I don't know. Usually when I'm like done, I do check again just to see how everything looks, but we're closing in on the fun stuff. I like those dwarfs. But I'm thinking for next time we're gonna go for the grass and of course those flowers to bridge. But that should not take too much time, I'm hoping. The grass should be, that really shouldn't take too long. I'll probably have to sort of rearrange my camera because now I'm actually moving the book up. It would be nice if I could just kind of keep that in place. It was for all that, but we are now moving down into grass, the flowers, the bridge, and I am hoping that I can get this started as well. But, I don't want to get ahead of myself because, with this I kind of thought, ooh, this could be fast and that could be fast, and, was still unpleasantly surprised at some points. So I hope I can get the grass and that side of that mine done, and then we can finally move on to the dwarves. So for part 11 we are going to be doing that last bit of, well, background, I guess. And the first piece of background that is in the front, and then we are on to dwarves, because I am really looking forward to him. I think those dwarves, I'm looking forward to the dwarves. He's not looking forward to it. He is. He's definitely looking forward to it. They're all looking forward to it, except for him. Well, okay. So, for now, this was really, I had fun up until now, especially, the flowers and everything. It does, now that tree is done, it does feel, it makes everything feel so different. The last castle is still a bit too much coming to the front. I feel like maybe if I add a little bit to that, I was talking about that last time, and I'm like so annoyed by it right now. I'm just gonna, while I'm here, I'm just gonna grab, is this the beige? I'm just gonna try and maybe pull this to the front just a little bit in hopes that that would bring that castle back, because it's too much, isn't it? That castle is just too much pulled to the front. Now I can actually go over that with my Pit artist pen, but I feel a bit scared because that would probably, well, there's a big chance of it kind of ruining it because that castle has so many fine details. Over here I pushed them back, but with the castle I kind of don't want to. I have been editing it recently and I could just hear how proud I was of how it turned out, and I think it did turn out good. So instead of pushing the castle back, I am now just trying to see if I can bring that background a little bit more to the front. Seems a bit weird. I feel a bit weird doing that too. Spending so much time pushing everything to the back, and now here I am trying to get it back to the front just to save my castle. It does feel like it's working. It feels like it's working. It's working. I don't know what that is. Am I ruining the paper? Or I don't know what that is, but like a little bit of scratchiness. I might have used my eraser in there. No, no. Alright, so now I'm just gonna use that beige. See if I can push it back a little. And we're bringing it forward, we're pushing it back. And there was a bit of a risk, of course. There always is when you start fiddling with things that you already have sort of deemed finished. Generally speaking, I would say don't do that. I'm just gonna sort of do it anyways. Hope for the best. I do know that I used this one, so I'm just gonna sort of go over that. And maybe I can also maybe push that castle back a little bit using it, but not too much. Because now I kind of just want to push it all at the same time. I feel a bit weird going back to the castle now though. Felt like I was all done with that. I mean, I was going all over the place now. But, you know, I was a little bit annoyed by it. And then I kind of looked at that timer and I was like, you know what? I have time. So why don't I just sort of fiddle a little bit? And I don't know if it's really worked or not. I might just want to get the blending stump in there because apparently those are used for blending. Although this is burnished. I don't know if you can really, without using any solvents, if you can really do this. But, well, I'm here to try experiment. I feel like it's not doing a whole lot actually. Yeah. It's not really doing anything. Do I have like another one, like another size that I can just... I have a 2. I'll just grab the 2. What is this? Yeah. These are probably not the best quality either. I mean, the point isn't exactly pointy to begin with. But, you know, I can probably make it work. I'll figure it out. Figured out how to do everything else. And so far the page doesn't look too terrible, so I do feel like this actually sort of was a good idea. And over there it still feels a bit maybe scratchy, but I'll just go back to that beige and see if I can unscratchy it. And while I'm doing that, I'm also kind of going over the things that are next to it. Oh, it does feel better. I should just probably get a closer look at the camera here. I feel like the camera is picking up on things that I'm not. It's kind of like changing your point of view. Alright. I'm done fiddling with that. Because, I mean, over there, it kind of looks like there's a lot going on and there's nothing going on all at the same time. Depending on the light as well. You know, and now mine is kind of, I don't know, I feel like it's more in sync. It was just like this kind of castle floating, and now it's not floating anymore. There's mountains behind it, or the suggestion of mountains. Right, so that really is going to be enough. So just a little bit of a touch up, and you know, time flies, which is exactly why I did not get started on the grass. Although I might have been finished with that by now. Oh well. Maybe now I got that part done, because I kept looking at it and I kept sort of being unhappy with it. I think I pointed it out earlier though. Like I was going to do that tree first and then see how it all kind of comes together. And apparently I felt like it was not coming together. Look at that shine. Do I burnish much? Yes, I do. Oh well. I mean, that was it for now. So for the next time, we are going into the grass, the flowers, the ones that I'm still going to have to kind of put in there, and that little side of the mine. So I guess for now that takes us to me saying thank you very much for watching. You know, if you like the video, do click the like button. Do not forget to subscribe, especially if you want to be there for part 11. Do turn on your notifications, because then you know when it's going to be there. So, yeah, well, that was enough for now. So, I really do hope to see you next time. So again, thank you very much for watching, and have a good one.